injury. And then Nolan Carroll, both cornerbacks for the Cowboys, was ruled out with a concussion. They've already got Orlando Scandrick, who's inactive due to a broken hand. So with those three out, that leaves the Cowboys with only two cornerbacks, Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis. That is not a good look. I mean, that's one of the issues for the Cowboys has been that secondary on defense. And now you're down to only two corners. That is not going to be a good thing for the Cowboys going into the next week. Rob Kelly, running back for the Washington Redskins, possible fractured rib. He'll be day-to-day. We'll see what happens with him. Joe Parker, offensive tackle for the LA Chargers. Eric Reed, the safety for the San Francisco 49ers, sustained a left knee injury that was away from the play during the second quarter. Jimmy Graham, tight end for the Seahawks. He was hit at the end of a play. He kind of went back awkwardly. He did return to the game in the second half, but we'll have to pay attention to see how he goes for the rest of this week and coming in the next weekend. T.J. Watt, linebacker, rookie linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, been having a nice showing. He is not doing too well as he is out with I believe it's a groin injury. We're not sure if he's going to be coming back or not. We'll find out. Jordan Howard, running back for the Chicago Bears, as if the Chicago Bears needed any other bad news. He's got a shoulder issue. Rob Gronkowski, this man just cannot stay healthy. He is out now, possibly with a groin injury. They're not sure if he's going to return or not. Deshaun Kaiser, I think he'll be back. He was suffering a migraine. He did come back into the game with about 8:19 left in the third quarter. Did finish the game, but we'll see if those migraines start to be a problem for him. Corey Davis, wide receiver for Tennessee Titans, he is out and questionable. Philip Dorsett, wide receiver for the New England Patriots, is out. He's questionable to return with a knee injury. Brandon Williams, tight end for defensive tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. Kendall Wright, wide receiver for Chicago Bears. Quan Alexander, linebacker for the Buccaneers. Corey Glenn for the Buffalo Bills, offensive tackle. Taywan Taylor, wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. The list goes on. Jalen Watkins for the Eagles. Marcel Durias for the Buffalo Bills. Trey Hendrickson for the Saints. Jeremy Maclin for the Baltimore Ravens. He left the game after being tackled in the first quarter. Possible left shoulder injury. He did return on the next drive, but we'll see if that starts to bother him throughout the season if he has to come out again. Jesse James, tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sam Bradford, quarterback for Minnesota Vikings. He was out last week. We'll see if he's going to come back this week or not. They're saying that he's fine, that he'll be back, and that the knee that was injured, the same one that he tore the ACL in 2013 and again in 2014, we'll see if he's able to come back from that. Right now, Case Keenum will start in his place against Pittsburgh. Mike Zimmer said that Bradford could miss anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. I'm going to go along that 6 weeks. I just don't see him coming back anytime soon. Kevin Johnson, cornerback for the Houston Texans, is out. And also Jonathan Joseph, another cornerback. So they're kind of weak on the cornerback side as well. So a lot of key injuries in the NFL after week 2. A lot of key injuries. So be interesting to see how some of these teams answer that call when it comes to these injuries. So real quick, we're going to the Twitter poll. And the Twitter poll that I had asked on had to do with the Canelo Triple G fight. The Canelo Triple G fight. And a lot of people were up in arms over this fight as it was called a draw. And I don't know if you heard the responses. I've heard it twice now on 2 different occasions, 2 different shows that air on ESPN. And that is Teddy Atlas. Man, he is on fire when it comes to this fight. He is on fire. How you scored a draw in a boxing match. And he said this is the problem with this sport today, is the corruption that goes on. I think he believes that the judges actually conspired to have a draw just for the money aspect. I think they're trying to draw more and more money for boxing and made this be a draw so there could be a rematch. That's the insinuation that's being made. So I asked the question on Twitter. You decide who should have won this fight. Do you agree with the decision? And when I look at the final results, 0% believe Canelo won that fight. 100% believe Triple G won the fight. He was the aggressor. Canelo, I think, tried to channel Mayweather and played kind of a defensive kind of match. Although he had quite a few good shots. It was a great fight. It was a great fight. I don't agree with the draw part of it, but as a fan of boxing, it was a great fight to watch. And that's the problem with boxing right now, is you get some great boxing matches that occur in the sport. A lot of great boxing matches. The problem is the judging. The problem is the promotion. Number one, I don't think Canelo Triple G got near the promotion that Mayweather McGregor did. And Mayweather McGregor was a horrible fight. You want to talk about a money grab? That was a money grab right there. Mayweather and McGregor. That was a horrible fight. I don't care who you are, and you can debate me all you want. 979-353-4421. That fight was ridiculous. It was horrible. Number one, I'm not a Mayweather fan. I don't like the way he fights. I get it. It works for him, but I don't have to be a fan of it. And I'm not going to be a fan of it. I don't like the way Mayweather fights. His fights are boring. Plain and simple. His fights are boring. Triple G and Canelo was a fight. Even though Canelo played a more of a defensive kind of role, he still threw his shots in there. He still got aggressive. But Triple G was stalking Canelo the entire fight. The entire fight, Triple G was tracking Canelo down. Now, I get how Teddy Atlas can be as passionate as he is over his comments, and I get that. He's been in the sport for, 40-plus years? That clearly was a man who was sick and tired of seeing the corruption of the sport that he loves. That's the issue with Teddy Atlas. I think he's tired of seeing the corruption in boxing. That's why MMA fighting has become so popular, because people are tired of watching a great fight, and at times watching a fight that's dominated by one boxer. But because of the corruption and the influence of what goes on in the background, it's put a bad taste in people's mouths. I heard it being explained earlier, and that is, boxing. There are dinners that occur prior to the fight. There are dinners that occur prior to the fight. The judges are invited to these dinners with the promoters, with the fighters. Don't tell me they're not talking about this stuff right there. Don't tell me the plan is not already in place. And that is the issue with boxing. Until they fix that, until boxing grabs hold of their sport, regulates it, does something to hold these promoters accountable, to hold these fighters accountable, hold these judges accountable, it's never going to change. And it will be the downfall of the sport. I remember when as a kid, man, boxing was the thing. Man, when there was a big fight on, everybody knew about it. Everybody was there. Everybody watched it. And you watched a good fight, and it was scored properly. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the big greats. That was even better. I'm not talking about Marcianos. I'm not talking about the Muhammad Ali's. I'm talking the Mike Tysons, the Sweet Pea Whitakers. Those were some fighters. Mickey Ward. How many of you remember the Ward Gotti fights that went on? They went on, I think it was like a 4 or 6 tour fight. Who is the heavyweight champion currently? I have no clue. The heavyweight division used to be the division everybody paid attention to. I couldn't tell you who even the fighters are in the heavyweight champion. That's how little I pay attention to boxing anymore. because it's so corrupted. It's so corrupted. You never know who is going to be the true winner. You can watch a fight and watch a fighter be the dominant fighter and win the fight. In our eyes, as viewers, as fans. Then the judges' scorecards come across and the other fighter wins. Are you kidding me? Boxing needs to fix this issue. They got to do something to change it. Because until they do, they are going to continue to have these kind of issues. They will continue to have these kind of issues. All right, so speaking of cheating, speaking of fixing fights, poor judging, question of the day. What should be the punishment for youth organizations who are caught cheating? Now, apparently there's a case out there right now. It's circulating all over social media. And last time I mentioned something like this, that somebody got all butthurt and sent me all kinds of emails and messages on social media because I mentioned it and I didn't know what I was talking about. You know what? I'm going by what's posted on social media, and I understand that it may not all be true. I don't believe everything I see on the internet, but when that many people are talking about it, something happened. The Atlanta Ducks. I hear about this organization all the time. How great they are, how big they are, how they go and beat everybody in youth football, claim to be champions of this, champions of that. At different age level, all age levels, it doesn't matter. I've heard of the Atlanta Ducks so much. And one of the things that you'll never hear me talk down on is the kids. The kids want to do one thing and one thing only. They want to play football. That's what they want to do. And that's what I support. Where things go wrong is with the adults. When the adults get involved. So apparently, there's a case out there right now with the Atlanta Ducks. Apparently, in a 7 or 8U matchup, I think it was either a double age group, 7 and 8U, or it was either 7 or 8U. I'm not sure. And I'm just getting all this stuff today, so I'm still kind of looking into this. But 7 or 8U tackle football game where the Atlanta Ducks apparently, allegedly, and I'll say allegedly because I don't have any proof, and I'm no judge, I'm no jury, but apparently they used an 11-year-old kid in a 7 or 8U tackle football game to the point that they've got video, and I haven't seen the video myself. I've asked to have that video sent to me because I want to see it myself. But apparently this 11-year-old is just bowling over these 7 and 8-year-olds like nothing. Like it was that obvious that this kid was an 11-year-old kid playing in a 7 or 8U game. Now, we know cheating occurs. It happens all the time. I've been to many tournaments. I've seen the cheating. I've heard about the cheating, all the accusations. I've talked to people about it. So I'm not attacking the Atlanta Ducks. First and foremost, let's get that clear. I'm not attacking the Atlanta Ducks. This is just the latest case that's come across. And I got to be honest, this is not the first case I've heard involving the Atlanta Ducks. This is not the first time. But my question is as a whole, when it comes to youth sports, I'm not even just talking football. I'm talking everything. Football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer, you name it. Whatever youth sport is out there. Field hockey. Croquet. Youth pinball. Any kind of youth sport that's out there right now. My question is, what should the punishment be for a youth organization who is caught cheating? What should happen? 979-353-4421 is the number to call. I put it on the Twitter poll. I put it as a 2-day poll. And we'll take a look at it here in the coming days. So the question I asked is, what should be the punishment for youth sports organizations caught cheating? Here's the choices I gave you. And one of the choices I left is an open end. The choices I gave you is ban the coach involved only. Only the coach of the team involved.